Hey guys, how's it going? Right after the game, so raw emotions. Wearing the Nebraska shirt today, and just wanted something better for the new season. You look at the players today that played in the game. You had Anthony Grant carrying the ball. You had Garcia Cascada that fumbled in the second quarter, and the offense of Mark Whipple. I mean, it's exciting. You throw the ball around a lot, but at the same time, second half, I mean, the offense was abysmal in the second half. Excluding a short field run for a touchdown, and Casey Thompson making a great play. I mean, Casey Thompson in the second half of games, he weathers off. He gets colder. And I don't know if he's a guy that you can throw out there 35 times a game. And the running and throwing the ball, I mean, Nebraska just wasn't able to supplement any drives. When they had the ball up 4 in the second half, they weren't able to go on a long drive. They had 2 crucial 3-and-outs. And then they insert Oliver Martin into the game, just like they insert the backup quarterback in Logan Smothers into the game as well. It's just all these gimmicky type of plays. You had Allen in the game, but meanwhile, Anthony Grant is the guy that hit off the big run. Like, give Grant the football and give it to him around the edge. I mean, I don't know why you're trying to run it up the gut. Get Grant running the ball north and south, or get him actually running the ball east and west, and get some high percentage plays. You don't have Vokalek in the game, so you're dealing with backups at the tight end position. And those throws are hard. They're behind the receiver. These are backup tight ends that you're throwing to. Casey in the second half, he had Trey Palmer open for an explosive. He missed him. It was schemed up perfectly from his own end zone in the second half too. He had a play out to the edge, a corner route that's wide open. But overall, I thought Thompson honestly had a B+ game. I thought in the first half he was terrific. If they didn't fumble that, Nebraska was going to score 35 points in this game. What really was unforeseen was how terrible Nebraska's defense would play. I mean, Northwestern last year, they were the worst offense in FBS football. You have Hull, who's returning. Helinski is a 4 or 5-star quarterback out of California. He's a highly touted kid who went to South Carolina. But even him, even he was struggling. But Nebraska's coverage is just abysmal. The linebacker play, whether it was Buford taking terrible angles, whether it's Reimer or even Nick Henrich, these guys are slow. These guys have no pop. They have no juice, okay? So they can't guard receivers. 3rd and 8, up 4, late in the fourth quarter, they allow a play wide open over the middle of the field, nobody in the vacated area, and then it's one-on-one, and Buford misses the tackle. It was an abysmal scheme, horrible. End of the half situation. Northwestern gets a delay game, gives you a gift, and you can't. And then 3rd and 7 from 3rd and goal, and you allow a post deep into the end zone, wide open on 3rd and 7 at the goal line. The defense was just. It was Swiss cheese. It was horrible. They gave up to Northwestern 500, probably 50 yards of offense, all running. They don't have the guys on defense. Last year was the one year where they had JoJo Domann. They also had, I think they might have had, I'm trying to think of the guys that they had on the defensive line last year. You had Taylor Britt, that was a really good player. You had some big time players on the defensive line last year. I know Domann would make a ton of tackles. I need to go back and look at the damn defense last year. I don't know if Stilley's a guy from Minnesota, but they had interior linemen, and now they're stuck with Ty Robinson. Garrett Nelson did all right last year, but you're still losing a ton of guys on the back end. You're losing a safety. I think it's Dismuke. You're losing a safety on the back end, so you're losing a lot of guys on defense that are actually really, really good talents for you. on the defensive side of the ball. And now, I mean, I know that Henrich and Reimer returned, but they're just slow, honestly. And that's why Ernest Hausman was even going into the game. So there's a big problem. The guys from last year no longer here. And up front, I mean, Garrett Nelson did nothing. O'Shawn Mathis, guy out of TCU, very highly touted Big 12 player. They had a horrendous game. The defensive line in general. I mean, Helinski could have made a sandwich back there in the pocket. He could have toured all of Dublin and then got back into the pocket. They made Helinski comfortable. They made him look like Brady in Montana, a Ryan Helinski journeyman, just like a Hunter Johnson. They made Northwestern's offense look like Bill Walsh in the Niners offense. The defense was abysmal. It was horrific. If the offense today actually showed signs of life, like the new guys, Trey Palmer had a really big game. Washington really contributed. Casey Thompson had a wonderful play where he scrambled out all the way to his left, circled back around, and found Cascada deep down the left sideline. He was fantastic. Grant had the big run. I mean, when Grant had that big run and you're up 11, you're feeling damn good, just like you're feeling good up 14-3. Then a stupid decision. So a couple of terrible coaching decisions today by Nebraska. I would say that continuing to throw the ball was a massive mistake. I would say that Nebraska also fair caught a kick return. I'd say the kick return game was really terrible. But I would say the running game, like interior run game, horrible. They lost the line of scrimmage badly. But the onside kick is an inexcusable play. You're up 11. You have all the momentum. Why be greedy in that situation? Why be greedy and go for that play? That was a stupid play. You know what? Northwestern, you kick it deep to Northwestern, they're still going to probably drive 80 yards because the defense can't stop a cold. The defense is abysmal. They're terrible. This is going to be a long year. They don't have the defensive guys, actually. This is not a very talented team right now. They're going to have to get a lot better. You really think they're going to stop Oklahoma in a couple weeks with this defense? I mean, Dylan Gabriel and those athletes are going to go up and down on Nebraska. Heck, even Georgia Southern is going to really put together some offense because there's no explosive plays defensively. There was one fumble caused in the game, but there's no quarterback rushes. They're never in position to make interceptions. And Helinski's throwing the ball. The coverage is horrible. And the defense doesn't create explosive plays. The offense, listen, there was a couple balls behind the receivers, right, off of guys' hands. But the scheme is pretty damn good. It's pretty fun. Palmer, I mean, again, Whipple, I thought, actually did a very decent job. Other than not kind of running the ball and settling it down, other than not giving Grant more touches along the edge and putting in A.J. Allen, putting in Logan Smothers, they're getting too cute by putting in Smothers in a really close game like that, really, even though it resulted in a flag. You're rotating too many backs. I mean, Allen, got the carry, but the offense in the second half, I mean, eventually these guys, I mean, you were running the ball a little bit. You didn't really stick to the ground game. And Casey Thompson, like, he had an all right day, but again, you're throwing him 40 times and you're going tempo kind of the whole game. You might as well just like ease into the play clock a little bit and run a little bit less plays, give your defense a rest. It was managed poorly. That onside kick was terrible. Terrible play. The punter was actually very good. The extra points were excellent today. That's what you have to say with Nebraska. So it is getting better. The special teams were there. The offense was actually there. The defense compared to last year. Imagine the defense against Ohio State last year. Really good. How about the Michigan first half, the defense? How about Michigan State, the entire game, the defense was flying with Chenander? You thought that these linebackers, Garrett Nelson, O'Shawn Mathis, you thought the defense would be at least comparable to last year. It's not. They're terrible. They stink. They're horrible. It's not like Nebraska made some fatal. I mean, you could say Oliver Martin. Yeah, why is Oliver Martin coming into the game too? I mean, you already have Washington. You already have Cascada. You already are throwing out, what's his name? Palmer, one of your really good receivers. I mean, why do you need Oliver? Why do you need a fourth Oliver Martin? Why? And then when you have the backup tight end and you already have Brody Belt, so you already have so many weapons. And I guess Manning must have been injured or something. Xavier Betts would have still been on this roster too. So Mickey Joseph is developing guys, but at the same time, they're getting way too cute. They're throwing way too many things at these Nebraska offensive guys. All right. And defensively, they're a mess. I mean, they can't tackle at all. There was 1,000 missed tackles. So they're not a good team. If you can't stop the run, you're not good. If you can't stop the run, especially against Northwestern, you're not good. If you allow 570 yards, you're not a good team. I mean, last year, Nebraska had some issues like punts were blocked, which were like horrible plays, fluke plays, disastrous special teams plays. Their defense was really, really solid last year. It was a really solid defense, and the offense in the passing game was not there. Now you finally, it's like whack-a-mole. Now you have an offense. Now you can actually throw the ball deep down the field, have some really good concepts with Mark Whipple, but your defense blows. It's terrible. So there's always problems with Nebraska, and this is year 5, and the team is supposed to be gelled and together. So if you're not going to beat Northwestern, Purdue's going to light you up. Purdue has a great offense. Minnesota's going to be able to ground and pound you in Lincoln with Mo Ibrahim. All right. Even Iowa and those teams later, like, oh my gosh, the guy Braylon Allen, he can run for literally 600 yards against the type of defense that you saw today. I know it's game 1 and you can improve. The problem for Nebraska is you're going to win your next 2 games most likely. You're going to beat North Dakota and Georgia Southern. If they don't win those games, then the end of the year, coaching changes are probably going to happen. Scott Frost, the seat's going to be really hot. It's probably, I mean, you're going to wait till the end of the year anyway, but you can't lose these next 2 games. And then against Oklahoma, to prove that you're not 2-2, you're going to have to go in, you're going to have to go at home. And the offense actually might click in that game against Venables. If the defense improves, the pass rush needs to improve with Chenander. And this is the first exposure, so maybe the defense will get a little bit better and Chenander can get these guys a little bit up to speed, but it's not going to be a world-beater defense. So now, instead of Nebraska going 8-4, 7-5, you're worried this can be a terrible season. The fact that you lose to Northwestern, you're up 11 at 2 points in the game, and you can't play complimentary ball. When your defense gets you the ball and you have a 4-point lead, you throw a pick or go 3 and out. When you pin them deep or your offense, drives them deep and fumbles the ball and the other team has to go 90 yards before the half, you can't get off the field. You can't make the play on 4th down when they sneak it. 3rd and 10s are just outs to the running back. Nobody's there. 1st downs. Elementary school, horrific defense, not having the talent on the defensive side of the ball, not having explosive players on that side of the ball this year. You fought Ty Robinson, who's experienced, O'Shawn Mathis, very experienced, and Garrett Nelson. I love Garrett Nelson. He's probably my favorite Husker in a really long time. I love the mentality on the kid. But even he would tell you today that he was a non-factor, and that's a big problem. The defensive line, you thought would be a solid group. The linebackers, Reimer and Henrich, you thought would be solid. They were liabilities, big time. So it was crazy today, crazy. Buford, the secondary, was a mess. Terrible angles to the ball, horrific tackling, horrible tackling. Taking terrible angles to the ball, not really shuffling your feet before contact, and not only was their form bad, but they just got beat sometimes by Northwestern. And Northwestern missed a field goal. Northwestern played so conservative, all right, down by the goal line. Helinski's red hot, only misses 5 throws. They run a play. They keep running the ball, almost like allowing Nebraska in the game. Northwestern then misses a field goal. Northwestern at the end of the game, 3rd and 7, they don't try to throw and ice the game. They give you another opportunity, although the special teams was really good on that kick by Akers. But still. And then with Thompson, you throw the ball like 42 times. You're going to throw the ball to the other teams just because of the volume of the times that you're throwing the ball. You're not taking any clock off. This offense can be fine, but instead of throwing a million passing plays, instead of snapping the ball with 20 seconds left on the clock, snap it with 10 or 5. Get a nice play. Get a nice play set up and bleed clock and shorten the game a little bit and let your defense defense, which is weak, allow them to rest. And you know the defense is weak. It's just as stupid, that onside kick. I mean, even if you recover that, it's just a dumb play. It's a dumb play, but I'm not going to blame that for the game. It's a part of it, but the defense is also not there. It's also Scott Frost and Chenander's problem that Frost does not have consistent recruiting on either side of the ball. The defensive side of the ball, the D ends are not good enough. You're not getting explosive defensive end players. Offensive line-wise, you're okay. I guess it's your first game. Raiola, first game. Thompson today, like in the first half, he was wonderful. He's stepping up in the pocket. He's scrambling. He's making throws out to the right. He actually looks fine. He does. He threw the ball behind him. He missed an explosive late in the game. Late in the game, he has less control over the football. I don't know what it is late in the game. His hands get sweatier. He just has less control. His arm just wears out. Even Texas, Oklahoma, he's a guy who starts out really well, and then he just goes cold, and the entire offense just went really cold. He missed that out badly. But listen, people hold you to a high standard in a Whipple offense. He really did some really solid things. And when Vokalek was rolling, Vokalek is a reliable target. Like Austin Allen, they're really missing Austin Allen an incredible amount. Cam Jurgens, too, not on this team, in center play. But anyway, the offense is there. The defense needs to dramatically improve. Scott Frost himself, the punting team was good. The decisions, other than the onside kick, were kind of appropriate. The timeouts were better. I like having Frost hover around. I like the hire of Mark Whipple. It's just this defense now is not holding up. If the defense held up, they would have won. Then, say that the onside kick happens. It's a disaster. You know what the defense then can go out and do? They can go get a damn stop. Go get a stop. All right? I know that the offense fumbled. I know that the special teams had a blunder and it was a terrible decision. Make a stop against Northwestern, for crying out loud. When you're up 4, go score points. Go get a field goal or a touchdown and pump up that lead. Have that killer instinct and put the game on ice. Make an explosive play. Actually touch the quarterback. It's legal to actually touch the quarterback. The black shirts must be absolutely furious watching this game, the 95 black. It's ridiculous. It's unrecognizable. I mean, Northwestern is lining up and kicking your ass. They went on a 9-minute drive. They're just snapping the ball and running it like ISO right at you. Nebraska couldn't stop it. Weak stuff. Pitiful stuff. Frustrating, really awful stuff. Everybody's going to clown on Nebraska now, and it's ridiculous. And you knew late in the game, they're throwing just like Logan Smothers, throw the interception. You're up by 11, and nobody, even Garrett Nelson, nobody's saying, let's go, let's shut this off. You're in O'Shawn, nobody can get home. There seems to be no talent rushing the passer. I hope I'm wrong. It's going to have to change magnificently. In the next 2 weeks, they're going to have a ton of sacks and then go into Oklahoma and somehow find a way. Maybe Northwestern will be okay this year. They look all right. But it's still an embarrassing performance. I mean, you had chances up 11 to put the game on ice. You're not a good enough team. It's not a matter of luck. It's not a matter of special teams. The defense is terrible, and the offense, a little too one-dimensional, had a sloppy second half. The defense is abysmal, and you're going to lose a lot of games playing defense like that. They were terrible in the game. They lost the game. Running defense, tackling. You can't give up 570 yards and be good at football. You just can't. And then your offense actually performed pretty damn well for the first time out there, but made some stupid turnovers, bad decisions by even Whipple and Frost towards the end, not giving Grant more carries, not chewing up more clock. It was managed poorly. You're up by 11. You're not playing your best. You know your defense is floundering. You don't need to get cute and be putting in Logan Smothers, Oliver Martin, and running an onside kick. You just don't. So it was managed poorly. It's the first game. I mean, the mood now, geez, you got to stay off social media now for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Stay off social media. Handle business. Get to Oklahoma somehow. Have a good chance. Have a fighting chance in that game. You win that game, all is forgotten. You win 3 straight, you're back on track. It's a brutal loss. It's tough. It's going to sting for sure. I don't even know if I'm going to listen to the radio. People are going to be like, fire Scott Frost, fire Scott Frost. Let's wait till the end of the year. All right? If this team wins 5 games, maybe even 6, and the defense is pitiful again, The thing is, the offense, though, with Frost, like, he made for the first game, it's looking like the decisions aren't even that bad. But just give Frost the rest of the year. If the offense plays like that and you get a little bit of defense, like, you can actually beat some people this year. So you're going to be in some games when Whipple and Trey Palmer, like Washington, Cascada. I mean, Cascada made an unbelievable play. There's explosive plays in this offense, like Casey Thompson. So it's going to be a ride. It was a roller coaster ride today. Really good game. If you're not a fan of Nebraska, Northwestern, tremendous entertainment. If you didn't bet the game, if you're a fan of the game of college football, it was back and forth. It was a tremendously compelling watch. But Nebraska, I mean, you're supposed to be better than this team. You beat them bad last year. The spread on the game was laughable, of course. And, man, could Oklahoma be ugly? Who knows? Now you got 2 games at home. Winning this game would have meant the world of difference. You would have said, the defense will get it back together. You know, the defense will get there. The offense, I love. What a clutch drive to win the game, or clutch drive at the end. Like Mark Whipple, Scott Frost, who finally win a game like this. You're going to be 3-0 heading into Oklahoma. Instead, it's all the same problems. But the special teams is fixed now. The offense is kind of there. It's whack-a-mole, and now the defense is pitiful again. So it sucks. It sucks. And the recruiting with the defensive talent just seems to be lacking really a great deal. I know that they had a pretty good class last year, but gosh, man, I mean, the defense has got to get better. I'm sure Garrett and these guys, listen, you do make improvements from the first game, right? You do. But oh my gosh, what a sad game, sad performance.